a question for you still, though.
Yeah.
Did you, take newscaster class?
No.
College? I'm like, wow, how do you do that thing? And it makes it so interesting because you're, varying in tone, and that's, one of the newscaster things.
Yeah, it's called the roller coaster. You go up and you come down and you go fast and you go slow. And what that does is it creates a natural kind of cadence to your voice. And I picked this up through voice acting, and I did some voice acting. And so if you ever listen to a cartoon or watch a cartoon or listen to an audio drama, good actors will do that kind of variance within a performance because it helps to eke out the world, because you're doing so much of the acting in your voice and you're relying on either the audience's imagination or the animators to kind of go out, and they can't see me doing this thing with my hand right now.
Bruh.
This is The Critics and the Crowd, the review podcast that covers divisive media. The pros love it and the audiences hate it, or t'other way around. That is the kind of content that we cover on our podcast.
As always, I'm Liz Ramirez, the cool co-host of The Critics and the Crowd. I'm an actress, producer, movie fan, and Bratz girl.
And I'm Steele Philippek, the second half of this duo, who are here to give you the unvarnished truth about the content that splits the world in twain. Today, we've got another one of our double feature episodes, where we'll cover two films that don't quite meet the criteria for the podcast. As a reminder, to qualify for Critics in the Crowd consideration, a piece of media needs to have at least a 25% split between professional and amateur scores on Rotten Tomatoes. So some films may be slightly outside of our purview or have been critically re-examined.
And sometimes we just want to cover them because they are our personal favorites. That's the case for our two films today, Bratz and Idiocracy. The former is a fairly standard C and C entry, with 10% of critics and 46% of audiences liking this film. But I wanted to see how Steele would respond to this film.
Why did you choose Bratz, Liz? Why did you do this to me? I thought we were, if not friends, colleagues, co-hosts, co-conspirators.
Steele, I picked this for you because why the hell not? No. But seriously, I used to love this film when I was a kid. This was a movie I had on DVD, and boy, did it get played till it was scratched up. And I'm pretty sure we even rented it on Redbox. Do you remember Redbox?
Do I remember Redbox? Yes.
I loved Redbox. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I have to tell you something really, really sad. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So we have a Walgreens down by where I live in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. And it's where we get everything, it's right at the corner. Okay, anyway, the corner of Happy and Healthy. Oh, literally. I went there the other day when I was back home, and we had a Redbox machine outside.
Oh no.
God.
Oh no.
God. And I was like, this is where the Redbox machine used to be. It was so sad. You could still see the square where it used to live. Anyway, when you brought up the idea of this sort of double feature introduction of each other's sort of, I don't know, what do you call it?
Favorites.
Yeah, favorites.
Our staples.
I thought, what better way to introduce you to my world than Bratz? A film that rocked my world when I was a kid and is now just a nostalgic piece I come back to every so often.
All right, fine.
Don't try to weasel your way out of this. You gave me Idiocracy, which is indeed idiotic and is even worse of a choice for our podcast. It's got 71% and 61% from the pros and the audiences. That's not a split. That's just a regular movie.
That's where you're wrong. Idiocracy was a scream into the void warning us of our future, but it was a complete bomb, and so now we have a reality game show host as president. Well, thanks for trying anyway, Mike Judge.
Let's begin. Last time we covered your choice first, Steele, and as it was Big Trouble in Little China, I have no problem leading off with Bratz.
Context.
Bratz is the film adaptation of the fashion doll franchise that launched in the early 2000s. Yasmin, Chloe, Jade, and Sasha were a smash hit with young girls from the very beginning, which led to spin-offs.
Bratz Kids, Bratz Boys, Bratz Babies, and Bratzillas, all with a Z replacing the S at the end of the words. Yes, really.
A TV show.
Bratz the series.
Interactive DVDs.
Living it up with the Bratz, Bratz Glitz and Glamour, Little Bratz, Party Time.
Video games.
Bratz, Bratz Rock Angels, Bratz Forever Diamonds, Bratz Babies, Little Bratz Friends Fashion and Fun, Bratz Fashion Pixies.
Straight to VHS/DVD animated films.
Bratz Starrin' and Stylin', Bratz Babies, the movie, Bratz Rock Angels, Bratz Genie Magic, Bratz Passion for Fashion, that's a 4, the number, Bratz Fashion Pixies, Bratz Kids Sleepover Adventure, Bratz Super Babies, Bratz Kids Fairy Tales, Bratz Girls Really Rock, Bratz Pampered Pets.
Fashion accessories, makeup, a clothing line, and controversy.
Since the beginning, there have been the usual complaints about fashion-focused dolls aimed at young women. Parents and groups have complained about the sexualization of teens or preteens, body image concerns, consumerism concerns, lifestyle concerns, the encouragement of shopaholic behavior, collectability issues, the infamous Bratz Boys blind box fiasco, really, supposed encouragement of going on blind dates, rights issues between creator Carter Bryant, MGA Entertainment, and Mattel, and the working conditions of Chinese laborers who produced the toys.
Despite all that, or maybe because Bratz was always in the news, the franchise has grossed tens of billions of dollars in revenue, including $2 billion in 2005 alone, representing at its peak about 40% of the fashion doll market. So you know what that means.
A feature film. A synopsis.
Yasmin, Jade, Sasha, and Chloe are best friends and fashion lovers, but this well-dressed quartet face unexpected challenges to a lifelong bond when they enter Carrie Nation High. Senior Meredith Baxter Dimley rules the school's social cliques with an iron fist. And as her dictatorial rule and peer pressure threaten to divide the girls, they must learn how to band together and how to achieve true empowerment.
Critics have this to say about the film, according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Full of mixed messages and dubious role models, Bratz is too shallow even for its intended audience.
Starring Natalia Ramos, Janelle Parrish, Logan Browning, and Skylar Shea as our four heroes, the film dropped in August 2007, grossing $27 million against a $20 million budget. With marketing and the theaters taking their cut, that means it lost money at the box office, though with DVD and toy sales, it almost certainly made a modest profit in the end. Director Sean McNamara, who had cut his teeth directing such kid-friendly fare as The Secret World of Alex Mack, Even Stevens, That's So Raven, and Beyond the Break, certainly knew what he was doing. Did he, though, Liz? Did he? You loved this movie, yes? I get it. You are the exact target demo for this film. For Bratz, for everything. Where are you coming from assigning this for me to watch?
This is coming from the little girl whose eyes lit up and heart soared at the opening song and sequence. This is what high school was supposed to be like. This movie taught me so many things. One being that I need to be myself and stick to what I know is right, including sticking up for my friends. Did I have dreams of grandeur that one day I could rock a talent show and get the whole student body involved with a kick-ass song that had way too many rhyming schemes? Yes. Yes, I did. But this film filled me with joy and happiness. And you know what I think? I think it shows you how not to be self-centered. And I think that's something lots of people can learn from. I just needed you to see and understand the groundbreaking work being done here. This movie has some major highlights that, while laughable, bring heart. And a certain je ne sais quoi. Yes, I am a little French. This was life as a preteen girl in 2008. What a time to be alive. What a time to be young. We just got YouTube too. It was really, really great. Life was so good. You know what it is, Steele? It's My Big Trouble in Little China. So much laughable bullshit that has now gained a cult-like following, okay? That was John Carpenter's love letter to martial art films, and this is Sean McNamara's love letter to high school. I rest my case.
Bratz. Okay. I was not the target for this franchise or film. The only thing I really knew about this series was one of the video games, which my buddy, let's call him Jack, reviewed for our first job out of college. I just remember him cursing increasingly dark swear words as he played the game in the cubicle next to mine at showtime as pop music played and high-pitched girls sang, "Gotta be hotter than hot." So while I wasn't exactly looking forward to this exercise, I will say that I smile every time I think of this series because of Jack's red face and his veiny throat. The premise.
As always on Double Feature, we're not going to go through a whole synopsis like we would on our normal episodes. Instead, we're assigning the role of reteller to each other, and in 2 minutes, seeing if we can summarize the whole piece. You're up first, Steele. And no snark. For each cutting remark, I am deducting 1 percentage point from your final grade.
Ooh. Do I have time to edit?
No.
Okay, this may be my first negative grade ever, though Miss Winston at St. Edmund's Academy certainly tried her hardest. All right. Best friends Yasmin, Chloe, Sasha, and Jade are four freshmen, sure, starting high school together at Carrie Nation High in L.A. Their best friend, Etude, is immediately put to the test by popular, wealthy, and beautiful student body president Meredith Baxter Dimley, who presciently realizes that it's best to control people by dividing them into cliques and pitting them against each other, thus assuring her of complete power of the United States, the school. The independent spirit of our quartet of heroes rubs Meredith the wrong way, and so she begins a calculating plan to divide the girls. It helps that her father is the principal, by the way. John Voight, everybody! Meredith hardly needs to work at this because the girls' shared interests are suddenly split due to extracurriculars and hormones. Chloe is a soccer star whose practicing crush on a boy named Cameron splinters her right off from the group. Sasha, meanwhile, is your prototypal cheerleader who is enticed by the allure of pom-poms and flips. Jade's a budding scientist with passion for fashion and a cutie named Dexter. Yasmin likes journalism but changes her focus to singing, meeting a laid-back athlete named Dylan who's gone deaf. Irony, right? Through it all, the quartet try to maintain contact and all that fun stuff they used to do before school got in the way, but Meredith is egging them on to stay segregated. After an extreme jump cut, a food fight leads to our 4 former friends landing in detention. This was due to Meredith's continued mucking about, but much like a Greek tragedy, it backfires and our heroines realize that they miss each other. Working together and with other cliques, groups, and organizations within the school, try to break down the barriers that Meredith has put up, to no avail. Worse yet, the 4 are forced to work Meredith's Super Sweet 16 party rather than attend as guests. Meredith further tries to humiliate the group, but the party instead forms a conga line of defiance, upending Meredith's cake on her and dumping her into the pool with her friends. It all culminates at a school talent show that Meredith always wins, yet this year, the Bratz plan to take her down. Meredith attempts to blackmail the girls with an embarrassing photo, but it backfires as everybody's secrets are leaked. With no more hidden agendas, the cliques realize they have nothing left to fear. The 4 friends lead the school in a musical number right out of one of the lesser High School Musical films. Meredith's attempts to regain the spotlight fail, and it results in a tie. Meredith gets the trophy, but Chloe lands a scholarship. But really, the reward is the friendship they maintained along the way. How did I do?
Honestly, A+, my dude.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was clear, concise, and I had fun listening to it and having the movie play in my head while you said everything. It was good. It was good.
Thank you. Memorable scenes.
As always, for our double feature episodes, we're going to cover not just the good and the bad, but the surprising, shocking, and memorable moments of this film. Steele, what sticks out to you now that we're talking about Bratz?
I'm going to surprise you here, Liz. This is the craziest film I've seen in ages, and it would be easier for me to name the scenes that aren't memorable than the scenes that are.
What?
Seriously. Do you remember what I think is the greatest sin in creating art?
It's laziness.
Yes, it's laziness. And for as many of the odd, awful, and problematic choices that this film makes, it is not lazy. The filmmakers were swinging for the fences. They didn't have to. They could have played it safe, generic, and boring. This is an adaptation of a fashion doll line. But if anybody tells you that this film is boring, I'm not sure that they were actually watching it. Let's start with the opening. It's good and bad, aspirational and stereotypical, and everything in between. Sasha's got an African tribal mask on her wall. Chloe's walls are covered in soccer stuff, and only soccer stuff. Jade has a fastidious Asian mother, and a hidden wall that reveals a walk-in closet of fun apparel. Okay, that I thought was great. That being said, we get a sense of each main character in broad strokes, very broad strokes. In a few moments, though, Yasmin is kind of middle of the road, at least until we get to her family.
Yeah, I love the opening of this film. I think it's important, obviously, to sort of break down these girls and who they are in very simple terms. And so, I mean, like, how much simpler can you get? I mean, okay, the African tribal mask, that's crazy. I did not notice that. I've actually not really looked that hard. I think I just gathered that they're, all different girls. And so I really want to go back now and rewatch that because it's really crazy. I think we're being introduced to tropes. I mean, if you're saying that I'm the target demographic, then yeah, I am. And so they're trying to reach me and make me understand. Like, I can't see some sort of like, I don't know, if you like pulled up Citizen Kane and I'm like 7 years old, like, what's this?
Rosebud.
See, and I don't know that because I still haven't seen Citizen Kane.
You don't?
I've been waiting for the right moment.
I mean, look, it's 90 years old, so I guess a few more weeks isn't going to hurt you.
Exactly.
The 3 girls huddling in the parking lot over Jade as she changes. Really?
Yes! Oh my God. This scene is so good. And then they're like, have all the like fabric flying everywhere. Are you joking me? I just be like, how did she do that? I mean, because she's like changing and she's like huddled and like people can see between her legs, between the, like her friend's legs. Isn't that crazy? That was my favorite scenes ever. And did I ever do anything like that?
I certainly hope not.
I'm thinking about it. Hold on. No. I think I always wore what I was going to wear to school, home, everything. I never had to hide who I really was. I did have a passion for fashion, though. Was it good fashion? No. But, cute.
Look, high fashion in Pittsburgh in the 90s was wearing sports gear, so yeah. Wow. The whole clique aspect, as controlled by Meredith, is insanity. And that opening scene showcasing the seating chart, this is not how high school works. It's like bizarro Mean Girls. I will say, though, most of the direction in this film is kind of prosaic, but the shot composition, including camera movement and a vertigo shot, when one of Meredith's friends says that the Bratz look cool, not bad, Mr. McNamara. Not bad.
I have to agree. Okay, but the cliques are so fun. They're so fun. They're not like regular high school cliques. They've got like the disco dorks, the dino freaks, the emo goths, or like, I don't even know, loners. It's a fun take on old high school tropes.
If anybody has seen The Warriors, you'll know exactly what kind of cliques are here in this school. If you've seen the gangs from that, including the clowns and the various ridiculous people in that movie.
Warriors, come out and play it. Right? That's how it goes.
No, you nailed
Pretty
it.
good with the Coke bottles and stands.
The body doubles they use for the actors when they're in action, including the multiple doubles used for Sasha in a single scene, none of whom look like Sasha. It made me literally lean forward with a slack-jawed stare.
I could not believe this when I saw this rewatching the movie. I never, ever, never, noticed. She's doing the flips, and I'm like, ooh, that is not her. It is not her skin color. I think that's what they had it in outside in the sunset, so it's you couldn't really tell because you got sunset light on you, but you can tell.
Are you blind?
Listen, I was 8, and then I got older and rewatched it, but I'm not looking that hard, but I'm laughing and loving when she's doing her whole I brought it around the corner, brought it to little sister, blah, blah, and she's the whole thing where she's and brought it back before you could even catch the beat. That is crazy. I think it's so funny. Seeing Logan Browning actually doing her stuff, doing her dance is very, very good. I just the flip's really funny, but I also think there was body doubles in the dancing scene at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, you
body
caught
doubles.
that, right?
Yeah. Caught it. They didn't even try to hide it. The lunch showdown scene with all the cliques waiting to see what will happen, and then their heartbreak as they break apart their hearts. There's the escalation with each of the boy toy, there's Meredith's machinations, there's the time jump, and what the hell is going on with Manny throughout all of this? A conga line, a cake, a sweet 16th, and a musical number to end this movie? Liz, what the is going on in this movie?
Everything, Steele. Everything is going on in this movie. They wanted to hit all those boxes.
What went right?
You made it through this film, Steele. I knew you had it in you. You told me once that you once watched the entire Lord of the Rings special editions back to back to back. 13 hours of Tolkien. Sounds like a nightmare to me. But it's obvious you've got some willpower. This couldn't have been a complete slog. So, what did Bratz do right? Really?
No, I'm joking. I do like the opening scene despite some of the problems there. Anytime Manny Yasmin's brother's on screen, I dug that. And there are more subversions in this film than I would have expected. I'll get into the stereotypes in a second. But it was nice to see the divorced kid handling separation better than the parents, a story about the power of friendship in the face of popularity, and owning one's embarrassing traits. Jade being asked, quote, if she's in the right room, unquote, when she enters the lab, only to show up all of the other students, despite it being completely ridiculous, is another great example of this.
The direction, for the most part, is okay. It conveys information. I never got lost. It's not superlative, but there are also moments that I really enjoyed.
But you know what? The filmmakers are trying here. They're not playing it safe. It sometimes means that they strike out, but I'd rather that than something boring. And speaking of boring, as I said before, this film is not boring. Sometimes it's so bad it's good, other times it's just awful, and other times I found myself grooving along. Finally, and I mean this wholeheartedly, this is an example of existentialist filmmaking and polyphonic existentialist filmmaking at that. The goals of our main characters are internal rather than external. It's not about rescuing an ark or getting the money or winning a romantic partner. It's about how to stay true to oneself in a world where conformity is demanded. That it uses multiple characters, that is polyphonic, with different trajectories and end goals and makes an argument for how one can defy expectations, be unique, and still be part of a family. I'm going to go out on a limb here and make a comparison to American Pie. Have you seen it, Liz?
No, but I do know that thing about the flute and the whole pie thing.
The whole pie thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, what else do I have to say? I feel like everyone knows, but I do need to watch it.
In short, it's about four friends who make a bet that they will lose their virginities before high school ends. It's a raunchy, funny, well-made film, a better film than Bratz. It's also safer and just as problematic at parts, particularly with issues of sexual consent. If we call the problematic elements a wash, then American Pie wins on technical merits, but I have to give credit where credit is due and commend the filmmakers of Bratz for surprising me.
Wow. This is huge, y'all. I was expecting Steele to obliterate this film. We have to absolutely talk about Chelsea Kane as Meredith Baxter Dimley. Incredible.
She's good.
Steals the show. Both of her songs I can still hum to this day. It's all about me. You know what I'm saying? And then F to the B to the US. I couldn't spell that fast when I was a kid. Still can't spell it. F to the A to the B L O W O L U S.
Why are you looking at me? I've got no control.
And she's talking about that. Oh, and then what was that song she sings at the talent show? Oh my God. It's so good. Fabulous. You don't know what I want. Fabulous. I'm so fabulous. And it's just a breakdown. The breakdown. Back in the day. Back in elementary. That went crazy. I went crazy every time the Sweet 16 scene came on. And also when they become clowns. And then when Sasha and Jade fix them up and then they come out as like cute clowns. And the whole party's like... They stop, and literally Meredith's on a damn elephant, but the party stops for the pretty clowns. Oh my God!
I used to get annoyed with my parents when they couldn't tell the various Ninja Turtles apart. Obviously, Donatello is the purple one, and Leonardo is the blue one, and Michelangelo is the orange one, and Raphael is the red one. And yet, this is the same thing. I get it. I get it. What went wrong? And now, after all my praise, here's where I get to take a big ol' rhinoceros dump on this film.
Okay, well, I spoke too soon. So, yes, Steele, okay, there are some things that went wrong with Bratz. Let's get into it.
I knew I was in for a rough time when the credits were written in Comic Sans.
That was like one of my first notes. Oh my God, I rewatching it. I was like, oh my God. Comic Sans, is that how you say it? Yeah. I would say Comic Sans.
It's
either or.
Tomato. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The stereotypes in this film hit hard and they hit fast. We have the gigantic Mexican-American family all living under one roof and yelling at the same time, including a full mariachi band, the strict Asian mom, every possible high school typecast clique, and so on, and so on, and so on. I know that the film has to introduce a lot of characters very quickly and help us remember them, but come on. All we needed was an Inuttaq seal hunter in a sled and an Australian with shrimps on the Barbie, and we would have had the complete set.
Yeah, it's real. Lainey Kazan in... Can you call that brown face? I'm going to say something problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a Mexican grandmother. She sold it. When I was a kid, I was like, yes. And now I'm like, oh, she's Greek and Mexican? Really? No, I'm kidding. What is Lainey Kazan? She's loving my life. Love her so much, actually. It's real. It's true. This film, these filmmakers, again, they were trying to convey to children that there are different people in the world. And, some of them weren't super run-of-the-mill. I talked about the disco dorks. They want to make it clear so there is no missing the message that you should shine your light and let your freak flag fly. Shrek the musical is no better if you hold them up to the same standard.
Yeah, but that's a fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? This is all but a fantasy. So, yeah. In seriousness, I think we would now actually cast a deaf actor in the role of Dylan, but they do handle it with some sensitivity, and particularly for a film that is spelled B-R-A-T-Z. I'm going to bleep this because I don't think it's a fair criticism to share with the world, but I want to get your reaction to it. I'm going to let you react to it and say, for the audience, if you watch the film on your own, you'll know exactly who or what I'm criticizing here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much more I can say. You can bleep my thing out too if you want. But yeah, the...
I hate to be this guy, but there is a basic quality here where the girls take the glasses off of guys and put lipstick on girls, and grill wear, and athletes are taught how to wear heels, and it's supposed to be uplifting. I don't think so. And then this movie has the geek beating the tar out of a jock. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I can't stop you there. It's super hypocritical to change them with the soccer player heel scene. To me, that was like look, we're doing something really awesome here and we're sharing worlds, but no one really took a second thought to truly think about what they were saying and how that message would come across.
Judgment.
The critics and the crowd are divided. Critics find Bratz to be utter schlock, with but 10% of Rotten Tomatoes professionals giving a positive score to this movie. Audiences are a little more forgiving, with 46% positively rating this film. But even those people weren't enough to keep this film from losing money in its theatrical run. So, Steele, you're here to render judgment. Who got it right?
If the quality of a film is determined by whether I enjoyed it or not, then I have to be honest with you. Liz, I liked this movie. I didn't love it, but after that cringeworthy opening, I was surprised by how much fun I had in it. It is a bonkers film. There are problematic elements aplenty, but for all the finger-wagging and critical lambasting, I thought for sure that this film was going to be utter trash and reinforce really awful societal norms. But I didn't find that to be true. yes, there are some elements that, upon examination, not the best. This is a deeper film than it had any right to be. It's called Bratz. It's based off of a doll line. I'm not going to seek it out on my own at any point in the future, but if my children asked me to watch this with them, I would do so with pleasure. You should see Liz's face right here.
Guys, look what I've done! I'm saving the world! I'm saving the world. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I love this movie. I love this movie. You know what I will say, though? I was a little underwhelmed at the end when I realized that the girls weren't actually doing the dancing, that they were doing the dancing, but then they weren't doing the dancing. I was actually really sad. But it still was fun, Gratitude. Oh! We forgot the best part. For Yasmin's voice. Her voice doubles this 30-year-old pop singer woman that, who is that girl? And she's like, oh my God, what is she saying? Oh my God, everyone shut up. Hold on, I gotta think, because it's very important to the explanation. Hold on, what is that song at the end? You're not gonna know it. Why am I asking you like you're gonna know it? It's very important, hold on.
I'm just sitting here drinking coffee.
Yeah, I know you are, but this is really important, so I'm gonna find this right now. Open eyes, I can see what's in front of me. Are you kidding me? And you heard gonna make it happen with all, and then Dylan comes in and she's like, oh, and then the with all is not in the song. And then at the end, I don't know if you watched the end credits where they have
Samuel L. Jackson shows up. Yeah,
I hate you, bro. I wish, honestly, Bratz resurgence with the same cast, that would be crazy. And they're all adults now. Steele, hey Steele, you really like the movie?
I did. I didn't love the movie, but if we were to do this on a critics in the crowd, as a real entry, I would have said that neither of them got this right. This was a 60% film. It was 3 stars. It's once again, the acting is atrocious, and some of the dialogue is really bad, but I didn't struggle with the film.
I also think Jon Voight is also a character that we really have to come back to. I really, really, really loved him in this movie. He, for me, yeah, that's all I'd say about that. Just cut out to really love him in the movie. Cut out till there. Thank you, Steele.
I'm putting all of that in.
Fudge.
Well, that was Bratz, and now we get to the B-side of our double feature. And what a thematic flip of the coin it is. From supposedly stupid stereotypes to supposed stereotypes of stupids. It's dumb. It's loud.
It's Idiocracy. Context.
Idiocracy comes to us from Mike Judge, who had exploded onto the pop culture landscape with Beavis and Butthead after training himself in animation following aborted careers in science, video game design, music, and education. The television show was a lightning rod for criticism from moral majority types in the 90s, but Judge leveraged it into a successful career which included the smash hit King of the Hill and the cult classic Office Space. That should have been enough to give Judge a little bit of creative rope for his next feature, but it turned out to be just enough rope to hang himself with. A synopsis of Idiocracy.
The most average man in the world, Army Private Joe Bowers, is voluntold to take part in an experiment that will put him in hibernation for 1 year alongside fellow conscript Rita. The two are forgotten when the base in which their cryopads are stored within is closed down, leaving them frozen in time until 2505. Upon finally awaking, they discover that the average intelligence of humans has decreased so much that Joe is now the smartest man in the world, and now he must not only survive in a world full of morons, but somehow save humanity.
This film has a bevy of stars in its ranks. Luke Wilson heads the cast, but we also have Maya Rudolph, Terry Crews, Dax Shepard, Justin Long, Stephen Root, and Thomas Hayden Church. Shot for a Hollywood minuscule budget of about $2.5 million, it was released into theaters in September 2006.
Or perhaps dropped, might be the better word, for the film as it debuted in just 130 theaters. To put this in perspective, most major Hollywood films are released in 2,000 theaters or more on their opening weekend, and even prestige indie flicks get into 600 or so. What happened?
That is up to conjecture. Mike Judge said that early test screenings were atrocious with audiences. Terry Crews felt that the merciless mocking of corporate sponsors turned them and 20th Century Fox against the film, saying, quote, "The rumor was because we used real corporations in our comedy, Starbucks was giving hand jobs, these companies gave us their name thinking they were going to get pumped up, and then we're like, welcome to Costco, we love you," delivered in monotone. All those real corporations were like, wait a minute. There were a lot of people trying to back out, but it was too late, and so Fox, who owned the movie, decided we're going to release this in as few theaters as legally possible, so it got a release in probably 3 theaters over 1 weekend, and it was sucked out into the vortex, unquote.
Regardless of what happened, Idiocracy pulled in just south of $500,000 and almost slipped away into the night. But it didn't. As of 2023, it has sold over 9 million in DVD sales, with about the same amount in rentals. It was a modest success on cable as well, and was a hit with both critics and audiences, for whom it is rated fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Much like Office Space, it needed just a little bit of time to grow.
So, Liz, you'd never seen this film before. Shocker, I know, given its style and subject matter. What did you know about Idiocracy before coming into this, and what were your thoughts on Judge's other work, like Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, and Office Space?
Okay, yes, I had no idea about the film. I'd only heard of the film in passing. Maybe it was mentioned in a video essay or two. Other than that, I knew nothing about it. And I had no idea what I was about to get into. As for Judge's other work, I had only seen bits and pieces. And I liked what I saw of King of the Hill. I don't know if I could sit through Beavis and Butthead because of their laughs, the kind of... Yeah, that's a little too much for me. But I mean, I could try for the sake of watching something iconic. Anyway, why did you choose this film for me, Steele?
It's unfortunate that this film is as prescient as it is. People mocked Mike Judge for making a film called Idiocracy when he had made Beavis and Butthead, but it's a scathing satire of humanity, and in particular the United States. It's also really funny. Broad, yes, very broad, but its biting humor also has a bit of compassion for the human spirit. Despite its negative outlook on our then-current world, it ends on a note of hope, but just one. And so I wanted to see if a film that I think isn't quite your cup of tea could win you over. Did it?
Oh, Steele. I have been waiting to say this for many, many, many episodes. No spoilers. The premise.
Now comes time for the 2-minute drill. That is, the premise of our double feature episodes. I'm giving Liz 120 seconds to recap Idiocracy. Can she sum it all up in the time it takes to sing the average pop song? We're about to find out. On your mark, get set.
No, wait.
Ready?
Yeah, I was just messing with you. Go ahead.
Go.
We open with an omniscient narrator who catches us up to the world of 2005, where evolution has begun to favor those with lower IQs and the ability to mass produce. We meet our extremely average protagonist, Army librarian Joe Bowers. Joe is chosen by Army higher-ups to go through a test trial of the Human Hibernation Project. His test mission partner is a prostitute named Rita. They are chosen because no one will miss them if something goes wrong. The soldiers are to be frozen for 1 year to test the system's capability. Unfortunately, the project goes horribly wrong, and our protagonists are frozen for 500 years and accidentally awoken in the year 2505 in a freak landfill avalanche. Evolution has not been kind, as the world is now dumb as shit. There are advertisements everywhere, and Costco is now a landmass? Joe must piece his way through this new world. He goes through the battered healthcare system, has a Mari-esque court hearing, takes a mandatory IQ test, and escapes prison. While running from the police, Joe finds his dumber-than-a-bag-of-hammers lawyer, Frito, who very awfully rubbed him in court. He easily bribes him into helping with his plot to find a time machine so he can return to his life in 2005. On the lam, he reunites with Rita, but is quickly found and retaken into custody. Instead of being taken to prison, however, he is brought to the White House, where Joe is thrown into a high cabinet position after learning that his IQ makes him the most intelligent man in the world. With sick vocals and rad hair, President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho hosts a church-like concert meeting where he swears Joe into office and promises that Joe's smarts will save the world by curing things like the economy and car sickness. If not, he will get his smart balls kicked all the way to the roof of his smart mouth and be sent back to prison. Joe uses his newfound power to continue looking for a time machine, but is thwarted at every turn. Seeing no way out other than through, he decides to put his smarts to good use. He convinces the people they need to water their crops with water, not the green Brondo sports drink, the current water replacement, with the electrolytes that plants crave. When this causes Brondo's stock to drop to zero and millions of jobs to be lost, Joe is charged and sentenced to a monster jam, gladiator-type battle of life and death. Rita sees that Joe's water idea works and saves him by showing the crops to the president and the world. Joe is granted a presidential pardon and celebrated with a college-esque frat party on the White House lawn. After trying to leave the party, Joe realizes he must stay to help the people of 2505 fix their many, many, many problems. I mean, it was not like he could leave anyway. There was no real time machine, only a defunct children's ride. A romance is kindled between our two protagonists and only grows. In the end, Joe becomes the president and starts the ball rolling to a better world, and Rita becomes the first lady. They have 3 kids, and the future begins to look bright for the people of the 2500s. The end.
That's pretty good.
Yeah!
Yeah. You know, it's hard with a comedy like this because so much of the plot is tied into that humor. And I think you did a good job of covering the narrative and covering pretty much everything in there. I guess I could quibble with like a couple scenes being left out or skipped over, but I think I'm going to give you an A on this one.
Yeah, last time I got a B. See, I'm a good student. Okay, y'all, I learned. Memorable scenes.
Memorable scenes. While not quite as quotable as some other comedies, I feel that there are a lot of silly, ridiculous, and over-the-top lines and moments that keep this in my queue of films that I'll lift from when in casual conversation. What about you, Liz? What sticks out to you about this film as we look back?
What doesn't stick out is the real question. This movie was quite the jaw dropper. It was very much a roller coaster ride. But if I had to pick, I would say the de-evolution of Fuddruckers to the new one. I'm not going to say what the new one is, but still, if you want to say it, you can say it.
You could probably figure.
Yeah. Just watch the movie, baby. Also, I love Fuddruckers. I miss Fuddruckers. We used to have one in San Antonio. I think we had like two. I don't know if we have one still, like just one now. Much like Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. is gone. I thought it was so funny that Carl's Jr. like runs this whole thing. Like, I was like, honestly, that's probably the one thing they got wrong about the future is that Carl's Jr. is still going to be around. Anyway.
You know that Carl's Jr. in the East Coast is called Hardee's.
Yeah, no, I feel like I did know that, but like, is it really still? Like, are we Hardee's? Are we going Hardee's? Like, is anyone eating at Hardee's? Is anyone eating at Carl's Jr.?
It's like an Arby's. People must eat at it, but I've never really seen people eat at them.
I really like Arby's, though. You ever had Arby's? You ever had their gyro, hero, whatever you want to call it? Gyro?
Their French fries are out of this world.
Oh my God, those curly fries, and they're red. Why are they red? There's no reason for them to be red.
Red tastes better.
You're honestly right. The healthcare system, where she like picks a picture, she's like trying to figure out his ailment, and there's like all these pictures, and I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. And then the butt diagnostic thing, that was my nightmare. Literally my worst nightmare. I have a story that I can tell you later about, not about like that, but like about hygiene.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, it's like I was on a set. Anyway, Justin Long's short but hilarious performance as the doctor. I loved that. He was hilarious. He did what he could with what he had, and he did it. Frito's chair in front of the TV is also a toilet. That was really funny. It's honestly kind of like us, scrolling while we poop. Okay. Scary. Anyway.
Go away, Baton.
They wouldn't have known. Oh my God, literally. That's pretty good. Oh my God. You were practicing last night, I'm so sure. Terry Crews as President Camacho. He honestly is what made the film for me. He is so good in this role. All his choices were incredible. I know this is like the quotable line, but like the "Welcome to Costco, I love you." That was really great. It took me out. The fact that Costco has become its own state is actually hilarious. It's pretty wild that this film was made almost 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, 20 years ago to be precise.
I'm kind of freaked out because I'm looking at my world and, things are looking a little too similar, a little too close for comfort. And I just really hope we never reach that point. But holy crap, we really need to do some serious soul searching. What went right?
Well, it seems like this is kind of positive. You've got some good stuff in here. Like, obviously, there's going to be some crazy stuff, but let's talk about some of the specific elements, particularly what went right with this film. What parts did you like about Idiocracy? Yeah,
you know what? I really do feel like a lot went right. I enjoyed myself. Anyway, we'll get to that. But this is a very original idea, for sci-fi. And I think it was made well for a super, super measly budget.
Tiny budget for a Hollywood film.
Yeah. Literally. Mm-hmm. And the stars that they got and the set design. Yeah, and the CGI. How the hell did they do? I know some people had old favors because there is no way they did that, but they did it, and I am appreciative. I don't think it could ever be made today, which is
it'd be hard.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
The casting choices, I feel like all the actors really came through with what they were given, even though, and I have to point out that all the quote unquote dumb characters were all dumb in their own way,
mm-hmm.
which I really thought, because it's really, everyone's supposed to be dumb, but they were very unique in their quote unquote dumbness.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that there was actually thought put into it. The special effects for 2005, they weren't bad, truly. All the big, the Monster Jam stuff, that was really good. The world building was a really big plus for me. I really enjoyed it. There were so many little details that they put in, that really sold it. Ones that were highlighted and not highlighted, like their clothes always being branded, or the use of Starbucks as a gentleman's club. That was crazy. Same with H&R Block. That was also really funny and stupid. Or, when he's at the hospital, the Brondo water fountain. I thought it was really interesting and really fun.
The production design is incredible. There's so much going on in this movie. It's very short. It's only, I think, 85 minutes or so. It's less.
Yeah, I was able to go through it so fast.
And partly that's due to the budget, but they put a lot of thought into the story world, into the production design,
Absolutely.
Into all of the details. It's big, it's broad, and yet it shows that comedians really do take their craft very seriously.
Absolutely. What went wrong?
Now, regardless of anything that was said above, I'm going to bet that you had quite a bit to say about how this film handles women, sexuality, politics, corporatism, consumerism, the environment, breast augmentation surgery, Brando, and Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho. So lay it on me, Liz. What went wrong with Idiocracy?
Well, I do think that regressive media is always a tough watch. You know, using offensive language, offensive tropes is a pretty big red flag. I will say, though, I think that was the point.
Yeah.
I completely think it was the point. I don't think they were being serious in any of it. And if we're sort of comparing, if we want to use this as a sort of introspective watch of like, oh my God, we really need to change our ways because that is our future. There are so many regressive things happening in our country. And I don't want to get so far into that, but it's like, that could really very truly be our future. Women are resigned to sort of like, you know, oh, like you want her to help, like she's gonna help, and then they're like, oh, he's like, no, I'm gonna like sleep with her. That's what I need her for. And so, you know, I really think
It's thinking we could, go on our family style or something.
that was really good. Oh my God. So honestly, I can't be too mad at what they're pointing out because I think it is part of the story, and I don't think it is meant to be truly serious. I do think Maya's character is poorly written. I wanted more for her. I think she could have been played a little more nuanced. This was like Maya's one of her first major roles.
This was really early on in her career.
Yeah.
It was really early on and for almost everybody in this.
Yeah. I feel like I should have more to say, but I don't.
I would compare the quote-unquote problematic elements of this film to the blackface in Tropic Thunder. It's being used very deliberately as a statement about our times, about, in that film, actors, and Hollywood, in this film, about the United States and its degradation into this cesspool. So I would agree with almost everything you just said right there. For me, also, there's not a lot that went wrong. It's hard to say because I would never consider this my favorite movie ever. But at the same time, I can't say, well, it was poorly edited, poorly directed. They did great. They did great.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Judgment.
The critics in the crowd are not divided. Idiocracy gets 71% from pros and 61% from audiences on thousands of reviews, both of which make it a positive film. It was a bomb when it first came out, however, so despite its cult-like status now, I want to see how Liz might react to this kind of film. Bring forth thy sword, and either knight Mike Judge or cut off his head. You said I have Old English tendencies.
Oh my God, I did, and you do. I think this film deserves its cult-like status. I think the film is smart, and I think it's relaying quite the message. I think its cult-like status really comes from the fact that not only is it a great film, but that the studio heads were trying to shove the movie down into the dark abyss, you know, after the sponsors of the film were like, what is happening with the representation of our brands? And this movie did some freaky future-telling stuff, like, you know, The Simpsons. And I do think it's a great introspective look on what certain futures could be. This is a fun film, while having its low points, is still enjoyable. It's sad to me that a movie like this couldn't be made today, but I guess we are lucky it's been made so it can live on in the cultural zeitgeist for however long the cultural zeitgeist exists.
Well, that was Idiocracy, and that was Bratz, and that was our double feature episode. I'm shocked to say that I'm going to ask everybody to give both of these films a shot. They are very oddball pictures, but if you go in with an open mind, I think you'll find a lot to like there. Parting thoughts, Liz?
Grab some popcorn and have a double feature with these films. It may be a crazy time, but I think it will be one filled with laughs and lots of gratitude.
I honestly think that if Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho ran for president in 2024, he would have won.
Absolutely.